Hey everybody, today we are standing in front of my 1970 Superbee, and earlier in the year we installed the Speedtech Performance Front Extreme kit into the front of the car and the torque arm in the rear of the car. And in this video we're going to go over the benefits of having it and the entire installation process. So let's dive into it. Alright, so we already have the Superbee up on the lift and ready to come apart. We're going to be dropping out the entire drivetrain out of the car, engine, transmission, rear axle, and you might be wondering, why are we doing a full Speedtech Performance Front Extreme subframe when the QA1 system that was already in the car worked so well? And honestly, the QA1 system is a great bolt-in setup. It handled awesome, but the real reason for the upgrade is the factory frame rails in the Superbee has started to rust. And instead of patching them, we decided to do a complete long-term fix. The Speedtech front subframe replaces all of those rusty frame rail sections. At the same time, it gives us big performance upgrade. This system improves camber and caster and gives us added acronym, helps keep the car stay planted in the corners. We're also going to be running the QA1 MOD shocks, so the amount of adjustability in the suspension is going to be endless. Another huge benefit with this setup, we can run a 325, maybe even a 335 tire in the front, depending on the wheel offset. We're going to be running a 315 either way, but regardless, this is a massive improvement over stock. So as we start tearing the car down, we'll walk you through the process, and later we'll even show you videos of the rusty frame rails and why this upgrade made sense. So as you can see now, we're actually using the US car tool dolly to drop the drivetrain right out of the bottom of the car. And we'll be able to do this with the new Speedtech Front Extreme system as well.
Well, there you have it, guys. The US car tool engine dollies actually does work with the QA1 coilover suspension system. It actually is pretty sturdy. So I just put it into the holes where the rack goes, and it's sitting on there nice and neat and level. We have the drivetrain out of the car, and I'll show you where we're having rust issues. You can see all along the bottom there, that whole bottom of the frame rail started to rust, and I've actually repaired it twice already. I actually had to cut that piece back off and weld another piece back on. Same thing over here. You can literally see where it's, rusting away. Rust actually, trickles down. You can see the rust right here. So it's rusting really bad. Maybe it doesn't look that bad in the video, but trust me, it's bad. So I want to also go over the rear of the car. So we are ditching the leaf springs. Yes, I am still running leaf springs on this car. Unfortunately, the pin on the leaf spring keeps snapping off. I don't understand why it's doing that, but it continues to do so, and it drives me off the wall. But Speedtech offers a torque arm for these cars now, and it's so simple to install. So we're going to go ahead and drop the rear axle and everything out of the car as well. We already got the brake lines off. We got to disconnect the sway bar, and basically that's it. So it'll be out.
We start to remove the rear end and the gas tank and all the stuff in the back of the car. We also are going to be removing the shock mount location. The torque arm actually comes with a brand new one for different locations. After all of this is out, we will actually be working on this car after hours, so we're going to put US car tool dollies on it so that way we can roll the car around the shop.
Okay, so the Speedtech suspension system is out of the crate. I went ahead and assembled everything just because I couldn't help myself. You can kind of see how everything fits. Got Corvette hubs. All the control arms are loosely mounted, but we don't have the coilovers yet. We're going to go with the QA1 MOD shocks. And I want to get, measure the ride height and everything before I order those. I just want to get it right on. You can see the inner fender skirts. That'll be a replacement. And then all the other bracketry. We have down bars as well. And then you can see all the other parts for the torque arm are down here as well. The way this works, this here, your factory frame rail runs down the line here. Your cross member for what would be your torsion bar cross member kind of sits in here after you cut out the middle part, and these basically weld in. Now these holes here will bolt directly to the K-member and slide in and out of the car just like a modern K-member. Obviously your engine can come with. Here's your transmission mount. You see the tie rods, the sweet manufacturer steering rack. This thing is so small. It's pretty cool. So we decided to put the Superbee on the lift. We got the car 100% level. It's kind of neat. The feet on these, they have threads on them, so I can adjust it and get it exactly where I want it to be. We have the Speedtech chassis sitting on this little dolly that I had laying around. That we can roll it under the car, make it a little easier. So we have our cross member marked. We have two markings. One is a distance from this hole to that, and also from the end to here. We have those two marked. There's a 32 inches in between here that's going to get removed. On the frame rail, right here we have our torque box marked. We're going to cut it off there, and then 3/4 of an inch away from the center of the K-member bolt. Now again, you want to make sure that if you have a stock type car, support your core support. Now I might necessarily need it because I already have these triangulating bars, so it's probably not necessary on mine, but I'm going to do it anyways. We have the frame rails cut out. We also have the torsion bar cross member cut out. You can kind of see what it looks like here. This is supposed to be 3/4 of an inch away from the front K-member bolts. These are flush with the torque boxes, and where this is about an inch away from the shock mount. Now the remaining of this will get cut out eventually, just we don't cut it all out right now because you don't want the front of the car to sag. Now I don't think mine's going to do that because I already have these bars in place, but if you had a stock car, the front of the car might droop down if you did not support the core support. We also can get in here and clean up a bunch of stuff. We got a rubberized undercoat that we're removing here. I'll clean up some of the trans-tunnel stuff that I didn't do a really good job on before in the past. We also found some cracks in the floor pan, so we'll have to replace the floor pan. But that's about it. Up next, we install some parts and pieces and test fit them. They're going to kind of fit right into this corner. Let me get a quick shot of that, actually. So this is the mounting box. The new subframe will bolt to the side of this, and as you can see, the cross member for the torsion bar that was cut out fits into that slot, and then it sits up against what's left of the frame rail. So that essentially fits up there like so. Weld it in, and then the subframe can go in. That's the short version. So the front ones, where I cut the frame rail, is 3/4 of an inch away from the front K-member bolt. Now I left an inch on there, so that give me a little bit of room to continue to trim down as we need to. These frame rails, the rest of this frame rail has been cut flush with the torque boxes, and they do have a block-off plate supplied in the kit. The torsion bar cross member, however, it had 32 inches cut out in between here. From this spot to this spot is roughly 12¼ inches as the measurement, as the guide. I left it a little longer, and then we've been slowly trimming it away to get a good fit for the mounting boxes. So this little guy here, what it's going to do is sit right up in space like that, filling up little gaps in between the ripples on the floor. Mounting plates or bolt plates, they have a little nut welded on them. They're going to slide into the torsion bar cross member, or what's left of it, and they're going to line up with that hole, and you will be able to bolt in your mounting box, which we'll go ahead and do that.
With the spacer welded to the floor, we can now mock up the mounting box. We used a C-clamp to hold them in place as well. That way this will not interfere with mocking up the subframe.
Okay, so we just drilled a 1/2-inch hole right there on the top of the frame rail, which goes through that hole. This sleeve will go inside of there, and that will be our new mounting bolts.
With all of the mounting positions ready in the car, we actually lowered down the car onto the subframe. On the backside, everything fit in just like a glove, but if you remember on the front, I left that front frame rail a little longer, so we had to trim that down. After we trimmed that down, the bumper bracket was hitting a little bit as well, so we had to modify the bumper bracket very little. Also on the bottom side, you can kind of see where the mounting bolt holes go in the front. It's just that easy. That'll support the front of the car. And then you can see how much clearance we have with all the clamps in the subframe.
Okay, so you can see here on the 70 model, the bumper brackets are just, they're in the way of that little piece. I probably could trim it. I don't want to trim anything on the new stuff. I'll just trim the brackets. I clearly have a ton of room. I'd like to make a lighter weight bracket. Anyways, those things are massive.
We test fit the subframe multiple times just to make sure everything fit like it was supposed to and is all squared up. On the backside, there are actually 6 holes where bolts will mount the subframe to the mounting box that we previously mocked up into the car. Those mounting boxes will actually be permanently welded into the car, and that will make this easily removable.
It is in. So we went ahead, we made sure everything was square, everything was lined up perfectly. We have all the holes good. All the holes line up on the mounting boxes down there. We went off of a couple locations off the back of the car to make sure everything was straight up here. There's not really a straight panel in the front up here to really make it perfectly square, but we tried. And yeah, now it's time to weld in the mounting boxes, and then we will lift the subframe assembly back out again.
While fully welding in the mounting box, we also are going to weld in these holes shut, which block-off plates are supplied from Speedtech for the rear ones and the front ones. After everything was welded into the car, we went ahead and installed the subframe again, just to make sure that nothing moved and everything was still where it was supposed to be. Everything is finally fit into the car. You can see how everything looks like when it's actually mounted in the car. Everything clears. Our bumper brackets clear now. We can actually drop this in and out of the car as many times as we would like. We have the bolts in place. There are actually a total of 10 bolts in place mounting this to the car itself. We also have to clean up the transmission tunnel. It is highly recommended that if you are doing this to have a large tunnel modification to fit larger transmissions like the 8-speed 8HP70 transmission.
Okay, so for today, we have the car supported on some jack stands and some other dollies in the back. We have the core support supported with a jack stand. And we're going to start looking at cutting the inner frame rails out. So basically, it's going to get cut 1/4 of an inch down from here, all the way down, and then back, and then we'll drill out the core support spot welds. Now, this kit also comes with new down bars, so I'll be removing my old ones. There you go. You can see where I drew the line and marked all the spot welds as well. We have it all cut out. We need to drill out the spot welds yet, but let's do a quick mock-up and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's going to look a little something like that. Now that's just sitting in place. You can see there's a opening that you can get into all of your suspension components. This cover will actually go inside there and make everything nice and flush. All right, check out how wide that tire is. It's a 315. Let's see if we can get a better view of what it looks like. Okay, so then we went ahead and turned the wheel the other direction, and everything does clear using the wheel check. Look how much turn there is in this car with that. That's a 315, guys. That's awesome. So we'll go ahead, repeat it on the other side, make sure everything lines up there too.
We welded in the inner fenders as well as started to mock up the new down bars. The down bars are removable. We traced out our template and drilled the holes into the firewall so that way the nutserts could slide directly into them.
Down and cleaned up a lot of our welds. We got a few yet to take care of. We drilled out the holes on the firewall to mount the down tube plates. And you can see there's the down tubes there. We got to cut a hole in the inner fender skirt yet, and that will mount down here. So we lay out our template. Template clearly marks top edge, rear edge, bottom edge. I already went ahead and marked it. Went ahead and did the same thing on the other side. We also installed the little bracket here. That's where the down bar will go to.
We went ahead and tacked in the down bars just to make sure that they fit just like they're supposed to. There's actually plates that they weld to, and that is actually what gets bolted to the cowl or the firewall. These are removable, and they also add strength to the front of the car.
Just about done wrapping up the suspension system from Speedtech Performance in the Superbee. And this actually showed up in the mail, and I want to take a chance to show it to you. This is going to upgrade our cooling system in the Superbee. Cold Case Radiators sent us this. It has a nice fan shroud, awesome fans, and the radiator, and this is just massive. It also comes with this really cool and trick aluminum core support. It's going to replace the core support that we have in the car, and it's going to be removable and make it real easy to get the engine in and out of the car. Now, this radiator and core support is actually meant from the 67 to 69 Coronet V-body platform, but we have a 70, which means we have the really awkward hood latch, and then also on the 70, the fender buckets, headlight buckets on the fenders, they bolt in around this range. So we got to do some fabrication to get them to fit in the car. So give us a follow, see how we make this thing fit in this car, and check out Cold Case Radiators.
We actually got a brand new 392 Gen 3 Hemi from Scoggin Dickey Parts Center. We actually got all the motor mounts and everything from Speedtech Performance to mount this in the car. Unlike the coilover suspension system from QA1 that used the mid-sump oil pan from Mylodon, we now need the rear sump oil pan from Mylodon. It's the Pro Tour pan. You can see it mocked up here on the engine.
So we mounted the Speedtech plates, the engine mount supplied by Speedtech, and also these supporting bars that go to the subframe for the Hemi. Mocked all those up, and we're just going to drop it in just like so. The mod shocks came in today. There's so much adjustment in these things. So these valves, if there's not enough there for you, they send you more valves. And then you can even adjust bleed off. They're endless amount of adjustability in these things. We even have the external cartridge on the front shocks as well. I actually have one already kind of mocked up in the car. Let's go take a quick look at that. There you have it. You can kind of see it's all in there. I'm going to have the cord run up here, and you're going to be able to see it, and I'm going to show it off inside the engine bay. Okay, so we have everything has been mocked up, test fitted, everything clears. We actually swapped out the left side and right side shock to get this cable to go up through that hole the way I want it to. Thank you for that little idea there, Cameron. And yeah, now everything fits. We're going to drop it all out, and we're going to do some paint and body work to the front. So we're actually going to lower it down on this US Car Tool dolly. These little prongs here will actually fit perfectly inside these little slots here.
We bodyworked the engine bay with an epoxy, a polyester filler, and a white sealer before spraying on our pearl yellow. In typical Mopar fashion, the engine bay has to match the exterior of the car, and it looked phenomenal. We went ahead and remounted our cold case radiator and moved on to painting the chassis to match.
We are going to remove the engine and transmission off the chassis, completely disassemble everything off of it, and start prepping this for paint. My goal is to have this in an epoxy tonight, or a sealer tonight. No, yeah, epoxy. And then hopefully we can do some color. Okay, we have the engine out of the chassis. Now we're going to go ahead and disassemble the front suspension and the steering, and we'll start working on this for paint. We sanded down the suspension system, and we're getting ready for epoxy. Had my wife come over and give me a hand today. She's over there cleaning it up before we get sanding, or before we get painting. Okay, so we have the Speedtech Front Extreme chassis in epoxy primer, along with all the other parts and pieces here. Now, the chassis will be pearl yellow. The down bars are going to be yellow. The front core support, latch bracket, that will be like a satiny black. We're going to paint the motor mount brackets black and the transmission crossmember mounts black. The suspension parts in two different coats of base. We had a yellow base, and then we had a transparent base with all the pearls and stuff in it. Technically, my car is a tri-coat paint job, so we're going to let this dry for a little while, and then we will do clear coat. There we go. The Speedtech Front Extreme suspension system is yellow. Did I get a run there? I think I got a run. It's okay. Other than that, it looks really, really good. We also have our down bars and stuff painted. Those are all yellow. We have all our engine mount brackets, transmission brackets. These are black. And apparently I didn't clean my gun out good enough, because these ones have a little bit of pearl inside there. Oops. And then I have my front hood latch bracket in black. I put some matting agent in it, but it's not matting out. So, oh well. And if all of that is cured enough tomorrow, we'll go ahead and start putting the front suspension components back on the car as well. So this is funny. These all kind of came off just like in Ford versus Ferrari. They were replacing it as an assembly.
Okay, so the suspension system is fully assembled again. Everything looks awesome in this black and yellow. We have all of our motor mounts and everything mocked up on there already. So we're actually going to install the chassis into the car without the engine and transmission because we're doing a few changes to those, and we'll install those later. So this is actually really cool. So QA1 actually makes these billet brackets that actually hold on to the cartridges for their mod shock since we have remote reservoirs. We actually mounted them right here on our down bars and they look fantastic. And it's a little thing just to kind of show off what we have going on under the car.
So we are installing the intake manifold back on the 6.4. All of my Holley Terminator Max X controls this engine, and all of it comes through this little grommet here in the firewall. Same thing with my vintage air heater core hoses. They're all in there under the intake manifold, all hidden away. Okay, so we have the engine inside the car. Next up, we're going to try and fit the 8HP70 into the car. There it is. The 6.4 Gen 3 Hemi is in the car along with the 8HP70 transmission. And yeah, it all fit in the chassis. Everything's mocked up or set up and looking good.
All right, everybody, so that is it. The Speedtech Front Extreme suspension system has been installed. If you really like this, stay tuned. We're going to make the next video about installing the Speedtech Performance rear torque arm in the car, and it is super easy and really cool. We also get to show you a little bit of a sneak peek. We actually painted underneath the car as well to make it match the top of the car. We paint the suspension parts, make everything look really nice and neat. We go over brakes, wheels, and tires and everything, make it all come together and maybe even get a little racing action in. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, like, share, subscribe.